Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Our next presentation is a fresh perspective on supply chain presented by Henry Chu of 99 Cent Only Stores. Henry is the Vice President of Business Solutions and has been with 99 Cent Only for 17 years. During that time, he's implemented numerous replenishment and allocation systems covering a broad range of product categories. Most recently, Henry has led the RELEX implementation. Everyone, please welcome Henry Chu.
Thank you very
Welcome,
much.
Henry.
Thank you. Very glad to be here. Let me see. Just want to make sure everybody can see my screen.
Yes, we can, Henry. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody, wherever you are. First of all, I wanted to say I'm very honored to be here and to share with everybody our story, our journey with RELEX. Today, I'll be touching on several topics. First, we'll be going on to talk about who 99 cents only stores are. I'm also going to talk about a little bit about the challenges that we had with our replenishments before RELEX. I'm also going to go into talk about why we picked RELEX, our implementation timeline. And lastly, we're going to talk a little bit more about like a focus on the fresh and our results. So who we are as 99 cents only store. We are at the deep discount retail chain located in Western United States. In fact, I would say we're the original single price point retailer. We started in 1982, and we have a long and a rich history since then, which I am not going to today since we have a short presentation. Today we have 385 stores throughout California, Arizona, Nevada, and Texas. We also have 2 distribution clusters too as well. We have over 17,000 associates with over $2 billion in sales. One of the unique things about 99, I believe, is our broad range of departments. We cover everything from fresh produce to seasonal. So from one end with very short shelf life to other ends, which has a long lead time as well as a seasonal management process. We also have 3 million active product location combinations with over 28 million active and inactive ones altogether. Now, you're probably thinking, why is there such a big difference? Well, the difference is because one of the unique things about 99 cents only store is that a significant percentage of our buy is actually opportunistic. That means that we buy on closeouts. This also means that our assortment is very dynamic. It's constantly changing. I'm going to touch on a little bit about the challenges that we faces in our supply chain. Now, I do want to mention that fresh is a very, very important business for us, and certainly for many other retailers that carry fresh products. However, it is also a pain to manage the supply chain there. Challenges includes everything from short shelf life. I would argue that for 99 cents only store, our shelf life is even less so than other retailers because the opportunistic buy nature of a business. The changing assortment mix that I mentioned earlier. We also have a mixed supply source environment where we use combination of our own distribution center as well as the ones from third-party logistics firms. Our supply chains are also very demanding in that we wanted to have very quick turnarounds. So our cold chain is very fast, actually. So we need a solution that's capable of optimizing our fresh categories We'll try to automate the process as much as we can. There are 3 primary targets that we look for to improvements with any new solution. One is the fresh optimization, and what that means is like more sales and less scrap. Supply chain integration, and what that means is that making sure that the DC and the store replenishment work hand in hand and share the same common forecasting base. We also care quite a bit about the system speed and performance, making sure it's robust. Like many other retailers there, we have constant receivings and deliveries to the stores. So we got to make sure the system's up and running the time that we need it, because we do run 7-day, pretty much a 24-hour operations. So why did we choose RELEX? I'm going to talk a little bit about like the different evaluation criteria. First of all, I mentioned that our team put together a really comprehensive RFP process. We also discussing length in depth with several leading solution providers. But we end up choosing RELEX because we felt that we believe that in the strength in these like key evaluation criteria. First one is the business scenarios. We looked at RELEX versus other options. We felt RELEX had a really strong focus in fresh. It was a really good 99. It was a really good fit with our requirements. You might laugh at this a little bit, but we're also looking at like the truck building capabilities. As our legacy solutions, we were not able to do truck building, and that caused a lot of inefficiencies in our workflow. We're also looking to lifecycle management, being in a opportunistic buy type of retailer. Another evaluation criteria we looked at is in technical capabilities. We were to see how configurable it is, how well the user be able to define and maintain the workflow. Being an opportunistic vendor or a retailer, or we have to be very flexible and dynamic with the products that we buy. And certainly we're looking to the performance I mentioned earlier. Another evaluation criteria was like in terms of ability to implement and support. During our RFP process, we have multiple rounds, including demos too as well. We thought like RELEX was super responsive, and we actually laid out many like more than half a dozen like different demo cases, and we thought RELEX did a really good job in terms of helping us to discuss and solve problems that's laid out in these demonstration requirements, scenario requirements. We love how RELEX is really an agile platform. Another area is in terms of scenario on workflow demos. I mentioned that like we had like scenarios that we ask like RELEX to walk through, and through that experience, we can see how the forecasting, visualization, what if scenarios. We found the platform to be very intuitive. Migo mentioned this earlier in terms of transparency. We really love the transparency in terms of understanding the business rule, as well as seeing how RELEX is able to come up with like the order proposals and recommendations. It was very clear, very easy to understand. Whereas our legacy solution, it wasn't quite exactly black box, but it was like a much harder to try to figure out what's going on behind the cover. Last one is just more about strategic partner, because this is a key platform that basically takes the valuable data and translates into actionable information. This is the heart of our supply chain. So we felt that like we really need a very strong partner to work with, and we really enjoyed our experience through the sales cycle with the RELEX individuals. I'm going to now touch on the implementation. So all of the data from our 99 was received 3 weeks after the kickoff. I'm a little proud to say that like internally for 99, we had a pretty good like a middleware in terms of our data repository. So we're able to put together at least like sales, inventory, purchase order, and these key information to and send it to RELEX. I do want to take this opportunity to just emphasize master data plays such an important role. And one really good thing about RELEX is that it's very flexible. It can certainly integrate with the client's database to consume the master data, but at the same time, RELEX, the platform itself, is able to create its own master data information to help the replenishment too as well. And we found that flexibility and agility very, very helpful. We went pilot on time, mid-August. We did roll out by categories. So in this case, we rolled out category by category: bread, milk and eggs, fresh and dry. I would say like most of our process were ready by the pilots. Now, one really key thing that we're driving also this is that our contractual relationship, the legacy solution was up, and there was certainly a very key and like a date that we will need to decommission the old system. And I'm very happy to say with RELEX, with our team, we are able to decommission the old system on time. And that actually had a pretty wide impact in terms of our replenishment into DC, as well as replenishment into the stores and the allocation. Oh. I'm going to now focus a little bit more on what's going on in fresh foods. What did we did in fresh foods? Simply put, our legacy system did not do fresh. So what this means, and I'm sure like many other businesses out there, our fresh replenishment, allocation, whether that's buying into the DC or replenishment allocate to the stores, everything ran on spreadsheets. As you can imagine, that is a very big headache. And the biggest issue that we run into was the scalability. We were not able to scale spreadsheet up with the growth in business, as well as the growth in complexity of that business. We had multiple Excel models. It lacked true forecasts, not to mention integrated forecast. So effectively, the DC replenishment and the store were using basically different forecasts. It was really difficult to modify and update. We just to add a new item or change the store order schedules, it was a real pain. And we were really concerned that any day it could one of the Excel model could break. So we're certainly looking to get out of the Excel business. Now, doing the demonstrations and also through the implementation, the key RELEX capability that stood out to us is its ability to do store and DC level spoilage. That is a key capability that can help us to reduce scrap. The spoilage is considered in the order recommendations. So that really helped to make sure that like what we send to the stores, not only that we take advantage to drive additional sales if we knew there's going to be high spoilage, or making best use of the spoilage information. This touches on the next point, which is the continuous allocation, making sure the items that has shorter dates are going to the store that most needed, that can sell through the fastest, so that we can actually reduce scrap. And this is what RELEX brings to the table in terms of continuous allocation, which basically determines the best location to allocate inventory based on the perishability. First perishable, first out. another key capability is the batch balance. What this means is that like RELEX is our legacy solution really looks at inventory for an item as one single inventory balance. In fact, our spreadsheet does that too as well. But RELEX goes one step further and is able to break that inventory balance, whether at the store or the DC, into either based on expiration dates or be based on like different case packs. So these capabilities really allow us to be able to take it to the next step in our fresh foods area. I'm going to go even a little bit deeper into how exactly these capabilities can match with our high-level business needs and how do we really utilize it. So on the screen, there are 3 different areas where it's really unique for 99 cents only store. One is the very compressed DC ops clock. What this means is that we get in the morning time, we allocate within few hours, and then it has to get out to the stores. Wherever comes into our refrigerated distribution center goes out to the stores on the same day. What RELEX is able to do with this platform is that it's able to set up like an hourly DC inventory updates. Now you might be curious, why do we need to do that? Well, this actually goes back to our opportunistic buy nature too as well. Because we buy opportunistic, we have to be very careful in terms on the receiving, checking on the quality. And certainly like we do a reasonable amount of rejections to make sure that the produce or even like perishable items, the quality is good. So the inventory is not necessarily matching up to like what we have on the purchase order. So we got to make sure about that. So our team checks on the DC inventory to make sure that we have the right amounts and with those are the right quantities, making sure that's going to the right stores, that we're not over allocating nor under allocating as well, to get everything out of DC as well as making sure that go to the right places. Since we're updating the DC balances, RELEX is also set up to actually provide hourly proposal updates. So for the proposal that we have not released to our DC or order management, the RELEX actually automatically updates proposal based on the recent inventory, the most recent DC inventory quantities too. The second area is, of course, reduce spoilage. So I mentioned earlier that we're able to leverage the combination of continuous allocation and a batch balance to be able to help to reduce the spoilage. Batch balance, for example, in the DC, we can see like for any particular item, all the expiration dates, and continued allocation methodology basically allocates these different layers based on the first perishable layer and making sure that it goes to the store that's most needed so it can sell through the fastest too. I mentioned several times about the opportunistic buy nature, and what that means is that like sometimes we will buy the same items, perhaps even from different providers, right? And then they will come in different batch sizes too as well. And sometimes there will be different sizes. For example, the size of the product itself or produce. So we will need to get the system help us to handle to make sure that the order batches, different like case packs are grouped together and be able to allocate efficiently and effectively to the stores. The last slide that I have here is on the results that we have seen after we have implemented RELEX. So what we saw is about a 6% increase across our fresh categories after versus before. We also saw a 15% reduction in spoilage in our fresh categories. One of the key things I mentioned earlier was about like automate our process. And as you can imagine, I mentioned earlier, we are very much Excel-based, so which requires quite a bit of hands-on. So our team right now for DC replenishment, as well as store allocation replenishment, we're able to automate quite a bit of the process. RELEX will wake up in the morning time and offer these suggestions ready for our team to review. Another key area is actually the faster system speeds. Our previous legacy solution on the dry sides will take about 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours to do the overnight job. RELEX did it in 45 minutes. And what that means is that it really opens up the opportunity for us to be able to recover if if there's an issue, which we have not run into, and to be able to also have the room to add additional capabilities. I do want to mention, actually, during our 90 job, the RELEX team also set up with us with actually 90 forecast updates. There is a weekly forecast update that goes more deeper, but there's also a 90 forecast update to make sure that our forecast always stays up to date. Last point I want to mention is actually the higher system availability. Since our, I would say go live, we have not run into any system downtime overnight job actually. So basically it's been 99.9%. So we're super impressed with that. And I think that covers my prepared presentation section.
Thank you so much, Henry. It was great to hear the advancements in your fresh processes and all the benefits that you've gotten from RELEX. We do have a few questions for you. So you touched on continuous allocation, and the question related to that is, where do you see the biggest challenges in fresh allocation?
Definitely in the expected forecasted spoilage and scrap, right? Because we know in the fresh area, customers are it's a very fast moving, very I would say many retail customers certainly will buy the fresh products. However, the key here is really making sure that we're not over allocating replenishing or under allocating replenishment, both sides, right? And it's very sensitive to that, especially to spoilage, especially in fresh produce, right? Because if we get the expected scrapped or forecasted scrap incorrectly, if we over forecast it, meaning forecasting too much scrap, then future scrap, then we'll be actually sending too much, and that might actually compound the issue. If we under forecast it, then we certainly will under allocate and losing tremendous amount of a sales opportunity, which a lot of times also a traffic driver, and that hurts, that compounds the issue so much more actually. So having that experience, having that capability, and having the flexibility and agility to manage and adjust that is key to managing the fresh business correctly.
Great, yeah. Being flexible and ensuring that you have all the right details to get that perfect balance is so key. Our next question for you is related to adaptability. So how is RELEX helping you to handle the changes and shifts that we're seeing in the market currently and also foreseeing to the future?
So I'll answer this question from two different perspectives. The first perspective in terms of how the system works by itself actually. So part of that is certainly on the forecasting, because the forecasting drives the replenishment itself. So the question is the discussion really is about the adaptability of the forecast. And I'm really happy to say that we do find a strength in the way that the RELEX is able to generate its forecast. Certainly, with any type of forecast, there are issues, but overall, I mean, the RELEX platform itself can do forecast both at aggregate level and as a little bit low at the item level. And we take advantage of both of these. That certainly help with having the platform and the process being to be adaptable. The second way that I can answer a question is in terms of just the way that how RELEX supports its platform. And what I mean by that is in terms of the service team and the support team. And between comparing how RELEX support team versus how legacy support team, it's just night and day. I mean, we have weekly meetings. We have a constant stay in touch, making sure that if there's any changes, that we have the right people as well as the right support to help us to adapt to and implement, deploy these changes.
That's great. So not only the processes, but the people help with all these changes.
Absolutely.
a comment, someone said great information and that they're enjoying the presentation. And their question is, they're curious if the processes that you describe for fresh produce at the DC, for example, batch balance, is applied at the store level too.
Currently, it does not actually. It is something that we have debated. We would love to be able to use it. Currently, we're actually applying to the DC. I think we are looking forward to be able to use that at the store too as well, but currently it's not. But we do use it quite extensively in the DC. Sorry, hello?
Do your produce buyers use RELEX to build demand, manage warehouse inventory, and create store orders? Or does RELEX require stores to maintain on-hand inventory so the system can build accurate orders?
That's a very detailed question. So RELEX does not require the store to build to have on hand, but in the area of the fresh produce, it will certainly help. We have like a I'm gonna go probably a little bit higher because we do implement RELEX across multiple different departments. There are departments that we actually do not rely on hands, and RELEX can work with that. There are departments that does require on hands, and because that's how we configure it, and that can also work too as well. With fresh produce, I understand there are different ways of doing like the fresh produce. When we deploy it, we do calculated inventory, and we send that over to RELEX, and with the expiration dates projected, and RELEX is able to consume those projected scrap and be able to use that information to come up with like a more accurate store replenishment calculations.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing so much insight about your business and your implementation with RELEX. We appreciate you taking the time to come with us today. We have a few extra minutes left in the session. Thank you. So we will take an extended break for coffee and take 9 minutes to yourself. We will resume in 9 minutes exactly. Thank you so much, Henry. And next up, we have Steve Finkelstein with Vitamin Shop. Thank you.